بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. ثم أما بعد, to proceed. See, the last session we talked about obsessions and the treatment of obsessions. And we said that there is a fine line, a hairline between perfectionism and obsession. Obsessiveness is a disease and it causes impediment and it hinders people from performing. And the difference between perfectionism that is healthy and obsessiveness that is unhealthy is what? If you remember. Yes, performance. If your perfectionism is pushing you forward, then it is healthy. But once it exceeds a certain threshold and it starts to keep you back, then it is obsessiveness and not perfectionism. So to perfect your wudu is healthy. But to spend 15-20 minutes making wudu is unhealthy. Okay. Now we will talk about something different. Imam ibn Qudama, may Allah bestow mercy on him, Abdullah ibn Ahmad ibn Qudama, that is Abdullah ibn Ahmad ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, that is the author of Al-Mughni. That is one of the greatest books to be written in Islam. Imam Al-Aziz ibn Abdul Salam said that I did not feel comfortable about issuing fatwa until I had a copy of Al-Mughni and a copy of Al-Muhalla. And Imam Al-Aziz ibn Abdul Salam is called Sultan al-Ulama. He was the greatest Shafi'i of his time. And he said, even though Al-Mughni is authored by Ibn Qudama, who is Hanbali, but he said, I did not feel comfortable issuing fatwas until I had a copy of Al-Mughni and a copy of Al-Muhalla. And he said that these are two matchless books that have been written in Islam. So the author of Al-Mughni is Imam Ibn Qudama. And we studied from his book Al-Umda of some fiqh. And in one of his books, which was like a wasiyya or advice from him, he has a beautiful advice for someone who asks him for advice. And of this, of this advice is a parable that he gave to this life, to the life of this world. It's a beautiful parable, a beautiful example or similitude between the life of this world, a similitude of the life of this world compared to the hereafter. Or the whole journey, the whole human journey, from the time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us and brought us from nothingness, Adam, to wujud, existence, until we return to Him, Azza wa Jal, exalted is He. So he says that you imagine this as a king who lives across the sea from you, across the sea from you. And the king invites you to his hospitality, invites you to his town, and to treat you with hospitality at his own town. But you have to get to him. You have to sail across the sea to get to the king. And on your way to the king, you stop by an island. But that stop is pre-planned. That stop is pre-planned. It's not like you're sailing to the king's town across the sea and then you just stumble by an island and then you stop. No, it is pre-planned. And it is pre-planned for you to stop by this island for a day. Just one day. So everybody gets off board when they get to this island. Now everybody got on board the ship, and everybody is sailing to be treated to the hospitality of the king and to be welcomed by the king in his own town. And then there is this little stop in the middle, this island in the middle of the sea, on your way to the king, and then you're pre-planned to stop there for rest for 1 day. Then the ship unloads and you get off board, and then once you get, they line you up. Once you get off the ship, they line you up, and then someone gives you instructions. Someone gives you instructions, guidelines. And then he will tell you, keep in mind that by sunset, we're all out of here. We're all out of here by sunset. And there's no compromise. It's not like you're gonna, be able to stop it or defer it. The ship will be sailing by sunset. Everybody will have to get on board. And then that messenger will explain to you the geography of the island. This island has rocks and soft stones here. This island has jewels, emeralds, rubies, diamonds, gold, silver. That's there. And this island also happened to have one palace, just one palace in the whole island. There is only one palace. The whole island is an open space. That open space has mixed stones, rocks, and lots of other things that are really insignificant, along with gold and silver and rubies and, diamonds and so on and so forth. But the whole island is open space in front of you. But there is this one palace on the island. This palace is surrounded by a high fence. It is gated, and inside the palace are some of the family members of the king and the harem of the king. The wives of the king, or this or that of the king. So that is symbolic of the sanctity of the king. That's the palace of the king that is inviting you. But he's not waiting for you here. He's waiting for you where? In his town, across the sea, there. So now, but you're going to be on your own. The messenger gave you instructions. He told you, he showed you, this is gold, this is silver, this is this is that, those are stones, rocks. And this is the palace where the harem of the king are inside, and that is the sacredness of the king, the sanctuary. See, there is a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, أَلَا إِنَّ حِمَى اللَّهِ مَحَارِمُهُ كالراعي يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يقع فيه ألا إن لكل ملك حمى ألا إن حمى الله محارمه. The likeness of the people who come close to the bounds of Allah, hududullah, transgress, hududullah, bounds of Allah, trespass, transgress, step over. Hududullah is like a shepherd who's grazing around a sanctuary. Grazing around a sanctuary. Sanctuary is, the shrine of sacredness, the place of your sacred, the place that is sacred to you, whether you're a king or a sultan or this or that, the place that's sacred to you, your own sacred property. So the Prophet ﷺ said it's like a shepherd that is grazing around a sanctuary, and then the Prophet ﷺ says, every king or monarch, أَلَا إِنَّ لِكُلِّ مَلِكٍ حِمَى. Every king or monarch has his own sanctuary, right? أَلَا إِنَّ حِمَى اللَّهِ مَحَارِمُهُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the king of the kings, the king of all kings. أَلَا إِنَّ حِمَى اللَّهِ مَحَارِمُهُ. Most certainly, the sanctuary of Allah are محارمه. محارمه are things which He prohibited, prohibitions, the things that He prohibited. Things that He told you, don't come here. So now, you have this open space. So some people, the people, they got their instructions and then they are on their own until sunset. So what happened is some people, they kept on collecting stones and rocks and bricks and sand and dust and soil, and they keep on carrying this stuff. And then they get tired, so they keep the stuff, and they sleep, they nap, they relax, stretch their legs, and relax, and look at the beauty of the clouds, and so on. Some others, every once in a while, they may pick like a jewel or something. Every once in a while. Some may not. Some may pick a jewel every once in a while. But most of what they're doing is basically relaxing and taking their time. And some people already forgot that their journey has a sequel. They thought that we're here. They already forgot that this is just the first phase of the journey. There is a sequel to this. There's this, we're leaving, sunset. They completely forgot about sunset. And what they're doing is, now they're collecting the rocks and the stones and they're starting to build houses. They're starting to build houses. Some people, they really listened carefully to the instructions given to them. At the time they boarded off the ship, they really listened carefully to the instructions given to them. Some listened better than others, by the way. So some, put a little bit more thought into it. And they know that, a diamond is light and expensive. Gold is good, but diamond is more expensive. Silver is great, but diamond or gold is greater. So there are people who are rationing now. They know that time is limited. So it's just until sunset. I have all of this in front of me, but I can only carry so much. Besides, other than the fact that I can only carry so much, time is limited. So what should I collect? And some people, they didn't put that much thought into it. They're still trying to work hard, and they're still, silver, gold, yeah, let's get as much as we can. They're doing great, but they're not putting enough thought into it. But they're doing well. They're doing a lot better than the others that we talked about. Now, some of those people, when they get tired, they sort of start to sit down, as they say here, chill out, relax, take it easy, and then they carry on. And some people, when they chill out or relax, they take a nap, and then the nap could be longer, sleep, snooze, this, that. But some people are vigilant enough, this is limited time now. So every time they're about to sort of succumb into sleep or tiredness or fatigue, they slap themselves on the face. It's us. Sunset is so close. Let me catch as much as I can. Let me collect as much as I can. And then they carry on, because they know the time is short and limited. Then you have the other group, now keep in mind that you can build houses on your own. There are rocks and stones and stuff. But the other group, they left the whole open space, the whole island, the whole entire big island, and they insisted on breaking into the sanctuary of the king. So they made holes into the fences, or the fence, and they jump on top of the fence and they make holes, and then they get inside, and then they try to snatch as much as they can from, the palace of the king. And some of them can do more and, can violate the honor of the king and so on and so forth. Well, everybody will keep on doing this, and then sunset is here, and then everybody has to move to phase 2. Because many people thought that, we're here, or that's it. And everybody has now to move to phase 2. So some people try to show resistance. Wait a second, let me, but they'll be grabbed. They'll be seized by force. And they'll be made to board the ship. And then they'll be taken to the city of the king. And then they will be brought, all of them, in groups. They will be brought by the guards of the king in front of him. Well, some people have stones and rocks. You get your backpack, and then you take out the stones and the rocks. What's this? Yeah. And then the other people, they have the diamonds and emeralds and rubies and corals and this. And then everybody puts their stuff. And the people who actually invaded the sanctuary, violated the honor of the king, they're miserable. They are actually not even here. They are cast away from the presence of the king. Those people are taken right away into confinements. You see, it's not any confinement. I think it is Yazid al-Raqashi. He used to say that if I know that Allah would confine me into a bathroom, I would have cried for the rest of my life. But the confinement there is not into a bathroom. It is into the hellfire. But that's what it is. That's the confinement. Now, for those people who violated the sanctuary of the king, the confinement there is actually in the hellfire. So everybody brings out their stuff, and the other people have already been thrown into confinement. And everybody got the parable from the time we started the journey, right? That's the parable of our lives. The parable of the people who violate the honor of the king, the people who يتعدون حدود الله وما يتعدى حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون. And those who trespass or transgress the bounds of Allah are the al-zalimun, the true zalimun, or oppressors. They oppress themselves first and foremost. And the people who will sabiqun, the forerunners. The forerunners are the people who will excel and keep motivating themselves and keep on, they're charged by the awareness. Everybody needs more awareness of the reality of this life, more recognition of the reality of this life, and awareness of the reality of this life. When you see, for instance, a 22-year-old woman who has HIV, doesn't that sort of make vivid the true reality of this life? This is a mistake. She may have committed that mistake once, more or less, but it only takes one mistake, and then it's condemnation in this life before the hereafter. Certainly, if you have faith and this is like an affliction, and you be patient and and so on, or you repent, then it will be an affliction. That's the beauty of this deen. Even the sin after you repent becomes an affliction, not a sin anymore. Right? Hadith Adam and Musa, reported by Muslim. فحج آدم موسى حج آدم موسى حج آدم موسى, reported by Bukhari. So the idea here is, if that is an affliction, then it's an affliction. But that's just the nature of this life. So this woman made the mistake once, and now she has to suffer the consequences for the rest of her life. So the forerunners, the sabiqun, are the people who kept themselves busy with what they need to do, because those are the people who had awareness and recognition, and it was vivid in their minds. By sunset, this ship is leaving. I have to keep an eye on the ship, and I have to keep an eye on the time. I have to, our righteous predecessors, the Salaf al-Salih, used to say that you are but a collection of breaths. When a breath goes out, it doesn't go back in. So every breath that goes out, it takes you closer to Allah by a breath, closer to meeting with Allah by a breath, closer to death by a breath. It doesn't come back in. And if that level of recognition will not overwhelm you, will not debilitate you, because once you start to get debilitated, you remind yourself of the vast mercy of Allah, the vast virtue of Allah. He is the compassionate. He is the most merciful. And that will lighten your anxiety. But then when you feel a little bit of laxity, then you go back and you remind yourself of that journey. I don't have time. None of us has time. So how many of those World Cup, whatever, soccer matches did you watch? If you watch a couple of them, and you believe they are halal, they're probably halal if there is nothing else that's haram around, women that are improper or this or that. But then again, someone who really is cognizant of the nature of this life, how could you feel comfortable sitting on that chair for 2 hours watching people run back and forth? It's not like you're playing yourself. At least you're getting some exercise, or you're having fun with your family, which is quality time, good fun with your family and kids bonding, which is good also. And if you have good intention, if you do this for rejuvenation, because you need to refresh your soul, refresh your spirit, and if that is a way for refreshing for you, then that's fine. But it has to go back to how many hours will you spend on this issue? How many hours? Honestly speaking, I don't know which one of you here plays cricket, but I get really distressed by the brothers who keep on telling me, we missed the last couple of months of this class because it was cricket time, cricket season. Okay, well, that sums it up. As a summary, if you're really aware of that parable that Ibn Qudama gave us, what are they doing? Collecting diamonds? We're not going to say that they're building houses, but at least they're collecting stones, rocks, stones, soil, sand. And if you open their backpack, it's quite distressful. If you have all of that around you, and look at what you piled up in your backpack. So people need to understand that their back can only carry so much. And that backpack has a certain capacity, and time is limited. So get to work. That's the bottom line. That's the take-home message of that parable that Ibn Qudama, Allah bestow mercy on him, gave us. If you have any questions, I'll take them. Otherwise, we'll finish off here in 10 to 15 minutes. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك